All right, Geminis, welcome into your March monthly reading. So let's go ahead and get started here. How have you been faring this 2026? Been a crazy year, just as we foretold, right? Definitely spot on with the disclosure of, the unconscious hidden stuff is being revealed. Anything that does not align, that does not support the overall good of the collective in our world is coming up. You may be kind of on the fence of like, but is it really going to change? I think we just have to continue to have the faith and like trust in the higher dimensional energies and the universe that we're seeing the change happening. Like stuff has been, a lot of this stuff has been hidden. A part of the dark collective energy is coming up and being revealed. So, if you really look at what's happened this whole year, a lot has happened. So it is moving a lot faster than, time is speeding up. We finally, hit the Chinese New Year. So we are now in the year of the fire horse. And yeah, it's a lot of fire energy. So, and fire is a fast moving energy. So things are going to start happening. We're also have the spring equinox this month. So, right, that spring energy is also starts to, the energetic frequency is increasing, right? As we go from winter to spring, the energy kind of subsides in the winter and kind of, it initiates the growth again. It initiates action and blossoming and the world to come alive again. So I'm excited for that. So we can start to feel that happening in March. We have the eclipse season closing out. So we have that total lunar eclipse in Virgo, March 3rd. So depending on when you watch this, it could have already passed, but the eclipse energy is about radical change as well. So we've had so many astrological aspects through February and in leading up to this beginning of March that really is about initiating some radical change for us. And really that huge cosmic reset energy on February 20th, that just happened. So, it's not like it's all going to happen on that one day, right? But it did get initiated. There was that complete, hitting the restart button. So now we're going to start seeing the unfoldment of what that change really looks like in the collective. But you're also seeing it in your personal lives. People are going through a lot of changes, and some of them aren't easy. If you've noticed, at least I have, they've kind of been saying a lot of souls are going to start leaving the planet more. And, I can't tell you the amount of people since the beginning of the year that I've seen, even that I've been connected with, that have passed away. It's been crazy. Obviously for those people's families and closer family and friends, my heart goes out. It's because obviously very difficult. Luckily, no one really close to me, but definitely close enough that I've felt it. I definitely feel it. So let's get started here, Geminis, and see what is going on for you guys this month. All right, so we have the sun and reflection. Interesting. So I'm kind of seeing like, sometimes we do need the reflection of the sun on something to kind of get those, when the sun reflects off the water, it gets kind of bright, right? And it can kind of skew our vision for a moment, but there's something about the reflection there's something that's going to be reflected back to you this month that's going to give you some insight. It's kind of that all of a sudden gaining some awareness about what the external world has been trying to show you. And it is really helping you to open up a new kind of perspective on things so that you can actually start to experience and bring in more things of what you really want. I do feel like there's something, there could be a lesson, there could be something that you really haven't seen that's kind of been blocking you. But I feel like in March, it's going to be reflected to you. So we have the sixth chakra, which is your third eye, and then we have boundaries. Yeah, so this could could be what's being reflected to you is some sort of third eye opening here. I see a third eye opening. Obviously, that's the card. That's all of a sudden where you're seeing things in a new way. You're almost seeing through your higher dimensional perspective here. It has something to do with boundaries. It has something to do with feeling, like some of you could feel separated or physically be going through some sort of separation. But this could be some of you really learning about this whole concept of boundaries. And it's like, you could have heard this everywhere and, oh, boundaries, boundaries. But I feel like there is something that you really need to be aware of about yourself in regards to whether it's you setting boundaries for yourself or, you know, other people have set boundaries that you haven't really been able to see and validate and respect as well. So I think it can go both ways here. But, you know, boundaries are really equate to respect. And we all have different needs and desires and, you know, personal things that represent how we need to be respected and what our personal boundaries are. And it's kind of saying, I'm not going to tolerate these sort of behaviors, or, you know what, I'm not going to be manipulated anymore, or I'm not going to sit and just take care of everyone else. And for what? Like, and what is the root of why you feel like you have to take care of everybody? Or you have a partner that you treat like a child, but yet you resent it, but you continue to do it. But when you really look at yourself in the mirror and reflect back, you're like, there's a part of me, though, that really just wants to nurture and care for somebody. Or, you know, there's this need for me to control. So if I'm just taking care of them, they're reliant on me. So there's some sort, it could be a codependency there, but depends on what it is. But there's definitely some major reflection here. But all of this is coming up again, going back to the sun, which is great. Like your higher self in life is trying to tell you, hey, these are the blocks. You want this sun, and you keep asking, when's my sun coming? When is my happiness? When am I going to gain more abundance? But it's like there's something that's been blocking you. And it really ties back to beliefs. Belief systems you have that don't allow you, for one, to like really see yourself, but to see your external world in a new way. All right. So we have the King of Wands, the Three of Swords, and the Four of Wands. And just because I see this here, we have the Two of Cups. And look at the sun at the heart of the reading. Yes, definitely a theme here around your happiness. You have the Devil, and I'm just going to keep going because there's so many great cards here. The Chariot, and I did shuffle these. The Death card. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. These are some major energies. And then Queen of Swords. So we have a king and a queen flanking the reading here. So we have the start, the king here, and then we have the queen. And it's almost like they're kind of, you know, towards each other here. But what's going on between them is all of this stuff here. So there definitely is some sort of heartbreak. I see that more as there is one of the sides or both sides who are not getting their needs met. And it has been very heartbreaking for them. Obviously, when you're in a relationship and your needs are overlooked, disrespected over and over again, you know, obviously it's not a relationship you want to be in. So, you know, we have the energies of love here. We have the Four of Wands. This is about creating a stable, like creating a life together. And we have the Two of Cups, and we have the happiness in the middle here, but then we have the Devil and the Death card. So there's something karmic about this. And there's definitely, to me, some deep-seated belief systems that have created a lot of karmic consequences in your life. So that could be tied to behavior patterns that are rooted in distortion, again, tied to belief systems you have that distort your perspective on relationship or distort how you show up or what you're not willing to do. Like, you know, to me, that really is a good example of somebody who doesn't have the capability of, for one, if they don't even understand their own needs and are constantly disrespecting themselves or not taking the time to nurture themselves, they're not going to be able to do that for another person. They're not going to be able to really nurture the other or to really try and understand what another person's needs are and show up for them. And then you have the Death card here. So there's something about some major transformation that has to happen for either, if this is like, this could represent any connection, okay? But for some of you, if you have been dealing with a connection that this resonates, there definitely needs to be some major transformative things that either happen, right? We both have to show up and change and grow. But there has to be some sort of ending of the old. But I do feel like things are going to move fast here. Someone is represented by more of their passion and their drive, where the other is really in a place of like, to me, that Queen of Swords is a lot more cold. Like, I feel like, especially since it's the feminine, which, not to say this is always the case, but I feel like in this reading, the feminine has not had her needs met for a long time. So she's kind of finally got to the point of she's over it. She's not willing to like compromise at this point. It's like she's putting her sword down of like, this is where I'm going. This is what I want. And I'm not compromising here. I'm not willing to change my perspective on this, because it could be too that this person has gone through a major transformation here. And we have the, you know, the third eye here. So someone's really had an awakening here to the reality of whatever the situation is. And they're just like, yeah, now I'm really seeing this and I'm not doing it anymore. Let's see here. Well, let's talk to the King and Queen here. What does the King have to say? Three of Pentacles. This person seems a bit more willing to want to work. Let's try to figure this out. Let's try to work together here. And then the Ace of Wands flew out. So this person definitely has a lot of passion. Like, they're very passionate about this. And like, they're going through they're feeling a lot of this, like, they're feeling a lot of that fire energy of like, I want to figure this out. I want to make a change, or I want to at least work together on this. Let's see what the Queen has to say, though. Queen of Coins. So we have a Queen of Swords and a Queen of Pentacles and Temperance and Two of Pentacles. Oh, interesting here. So this could be, this could definitely indicate two people, two queens here, because we have two queens and then we have the Two of Pentacles here. The Temperance is in the middle, so I mean, this is going to be a very, very small few of you, but there is something here about someone could be juggling two people for very small few of you. And I'm not trying to create like fear and all this density, but that's kind of like really what's coming up here. But let me see. Strength. Yeah, there's a situation here that this Queen of Swords, or there's a lot that this side is overcoming here, and they're gaining a lot of strength and confidence to stand up to a situation or experience that they've kind of been just like dealing with for a long time, or this has kind of been their story. But it's kind of like, you know what, they're seeing this new perspective on the whole thing, and it's just like they're setting boundaries, and they're just like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. There is a lot of kind of uncertainty here with the Two of Pentacles, and like maybe they tend to go back and forth, but I kind of feel like in March it's a no-go anymore. Like this Death card could represent something's over. But the focus here, Gemini, so I'm kind of talking about these two kind of generally because you're going to apply yourself, right, to your situation and what side you're on here. But ultimately at the root here, the heart of your reading really focuses on your happiness and your fulfillment. And it's kind of looking at your life to say, you know, is this really what I want? Like, is this the be all end all? Like, if you die tomorrow, or maybe if you're like, life's like, well, we're going to give you one more year. Are you really going to end your life being like, yes, I'm glad that I stayed in this? Or like, I should have had the strength and the courage to face my fears and to make a change or to do something differently. Or I wish I had the courage to end this a long time ago. Because there is something here like that, where it's like, I feel like you finally see where you're like, I wish I would have ended this a long time ago, because I've been stuck in this like loop-de-loop in a relationship or this situation for a long time. But I think you're ready now. Someone's ready. They're like, yes, someone's the Queen of Swords. Like, I'm seeing the truth. I'm seeing the reflection, the mirror of life, and I'm seeing what it's showing me. And I'm finally able to cut the karmic ties here. Let's see, what's the Three of Swords? King of Cups. Yeah, it's what you've been receiving. You haven't been receiving love. Like, you know, really in your heart of hearts, it's like, what do you want out of love? What needs do you have as an individual? I think maybe you've kind of overlooked your needs just to kind of stay in the situation, but I just don't think you're willing to do that anymore. The Death card. Eight of Pentacles. So either someone's done working through this. Like, someone's still trying to like, hey, we can work through this, or like still trying. The other person's like, I'm done. There's no more opportunity here to work through this. And the Devil. Ace of Cups. Really, it's almost like you're starting to really be afraid of, am I ever going to, like, if you stay in this, like, am I ever going to feel love or fulfilled? Am I ever really going to feel like that, what it means to, like, have an overflowing cup of really, like, God, I just, you know, it's that feeling love and giving love and that reciprocity. And it definitely has not been there. Ten of Swords. Yeah, definitely. The Devil, whatever represents the karmic thing to this, it could be a pattern. It could be a specific person. But this definitely has been some sort of pattern for you that you've been kind of looping through. And it's like, when is this going to end? Like, when is this pattern going to end that I don't have to keep kind of going through these same sort of people or these same sort of experiences? But this is done. This definitely is done, dead, done, and over with. So that's exciting, at least, right? That's exciting to know. But the real shift here, yes, it's dead, done, and over with, but it's also about, okay, how am I going to move forward differently? How am I going to be more discerning? How is my outward action going to be more showing respect for myself and showing my value? Things like that. So that's where it will shift. Okay. It's not about finding the same sort of person and ignoring the red flags and just like, again, getting stuck in the codependency. It's like, You really have to be highly, highly aware as you move forward in the next kind of phase in your next, the new, whatever new beginning it is, and making sure that you're starting from the beginning and being discerning and only choosing things that are showing respect and boundaries and compatibility and all these other things. But I think in the past you tended to overlook, either overlooked or you yourself weren't able to show up either in the right way to make it successful. All right, Geminis. This is an interesting twist. You guys had a little bit of a different, I mean, everyone has a different reading, but you kind of went very relationship focused here, where the other readings were a little more general. All right, have a good March. I will see you in the next reading.